So, and by watching you, because I watched a lot of people on YouTube, YouTubers as they call it, and I think I've been following you for about. When did you go to Kilimanjaro? Was that been about
2019.
2 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
19. Yeah.
yeah. So it's been about 2 years, and so I just felt that you were one to be trusted. I felt that I could trust your direction in taking us over here on this journey that so many people are afraid to take. I was,
Open up your eyes and see all the fun and mystery. Take an African adventure with Darren and Destiny. From the mountains to the shore, so many things to explore. Take an African adventure with Darren and Destiny.
Hey everyone, we had another couple who joined us on our recent trip to Ghana, and as I'm just remembering our time there, Tyrone and Delores, they were just a one of a kind couple, a joy to be a part of the tour, and they had experiences along the way. There were so many, we had so many different kinds of experiences along the way. They just the stories that they told me touched my heart, and I wanted them to be able to share with you. So welcome, Tyrone, Delores. How are you? How you doing? You're back home in the Ville, in the Nashville, Nashville,
oh,
Tennessee. So glad that you joined me on the tour and joined all of us. How are you doing?
we're
Doing
good.
fine.
We're good.
Fine.
Kind of homesick, I guess you could say. Homesick for
Ah,
that trip that we just got back from, which is kind of crazy, but yeah.
isn't that interesting? Homesick from going to Ghana. Now, Delores, tell me a little bit. I want to start with you. What resonated with you about the trip, and why did you decide to even go on the trip? All of those different things. What triggered the decision to go?
Um, my decision, I've been watching a lot of YouTube, learning a lot more about Africa, as I got older, just wondering what was the mystery of it all. And I'm at an age now where, I'm tired of working. If I could quit tomorrow, I would. But I just knew there was more to life, you know, than what I was doing. I know I'm not living up to my potential here in America. And I was hoping that taking a trip there would just spark something in me or in us, just to do something different, to start leading our life in a different direction and get off of the merry-go-round that we've been on for a lifetime here in America. So, and by watching you, because I watched a lot of people on YouTube, YouTubers as they call it, and I think I've been following you for about. When did you go to Kilimanjaro? Was that been about 2
2019.
years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
2019. Yeah.
yeah. So it's been about 2 years, and so I just felt that you were one to be trusted. I felt that I could trust your direction in taking us over here on this journey that so many people are afraid to take. I was, anxious, not anxious about going there, just the trip over there, the flight mainly. But now that's it under my belt, and so I'm good with that. I can make those flights now.
So you talk about the flights, because a lot of people do wonder about the flights when we do discovery calls and when we have Q&A sessions. How long is the flight, and am I going to be able to eat, and where am I going to be sleeping? You notice all this going on. I got a little more animation now. What did So you did the flight? Were you able to sleep okay? Those are questions people, I guess, they want to know.
Yeah, I mean, the flight was over there was fine. It was great. Of course, with somebody with their feet on the back of your seat, you always that
Always
one.
that one.
So I was able to sleep. It was good. It was good though. The flight was wonderful. Yeah, I don't have no complaints about that. And even even when we landed, Ghana had so many different steps to take to get out that airport, but it was in a, you just learn. Now I know to go back, I wouldn't have any problems because I know what to expect. I know what to do, you know. So
understood. So it's like getting the first wave under your belt.
Yeah.
You got that out of the way, and now you know, okay, this is what to expect, and then you were able to navigate from there. Now, Tyrone, how'd you end up in Africa? How did this happen? Okay, I see.
That's a commercial. You see? Well, it was sort of like, you know, first of all, I'm wondering, who's this guy she steady following? I'm out Africa. I'm hearing about it, but I ain't paying no attention to it because I'm doing my everyday thing.
Right.
And I guess you guys had a little conference on the, and she brought me to the discovery. And like you say, I'm usually not bad. I'm a good pick of people. And it's just, we just connected, right? You know, just like we're doing now. It's like, to me, it was like, oh, okay. And it was comfortable, you know, and okay, I said, that's what you want to do, then we do it. So
we did it. I
ended up in Africa.
But you know the thing, but that's real. Forest. But but you know that's real though, because I didn't see a lot of Black men when I went my first time in 2018, and there's always somebody who wants to tell me that Black men are there. I know. I mean, talk about Black quote unquote American men. I know we're there, but on that particular trip, I didn't see us, and so I was on a mission to bring us because I knew the stuff that we were taught here. I know how we were basically conditioned or raised to be like the lowest denominator in the system. And so the stuff that we go through, and we, even wherever we are, the one thing about being a Black man in America, even though our experiences are different, even though we don't all deal with the same things, when we see each other, there's this common thing that we know. We can look at each other, either it's going to be favorable or it's not. You know, and we can kind of sense the ones when it's going to be favorable, and there's a part of us that wants to connect like that. So going, you know, to see so many brothers now going to the continent and connecting, but even beyond that, the connection transcends going to Africa. It's like we're still connected even when we come back here because we shared that experience. So what was the experience like for you going?
Well, for me, it was, you know, like I say, the flight, the flight to me is good. You know, like I hear people say they blessed. I just feel I'm blessed. Mm-hmm. So I don't worry about nothing I can't control. So if I got on that plane, I couldn't control it from that point I sat on that seat.
Yeah.
So it you know, it was cool. I'm asleep. So that was my only thing, but you know, it's like it brought me into a group of people that I never would have known, probably never would have met. Mm-hmm. And right now, in my heart, that's family.
Yeah.
You know, they're family to me now. You know, and it's, some people might look at it as being strange, but we are family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's just, like I say, when I got there, I seen the divide. I always wondered, why is it that America just, they focus on keeping us separated. But it's in my heart, as soon as I landed my foot on the ground, I seen why.
Mm.
You know,
and what is it? Why is it?
They can't let the minds get together. It's their biggest fear is the minds getting together, you know, helping one another. And long as they can keep us separated, continents apart, mm-hmm. not feeling safe. You know, I felt safer there than I do here at home, really. You know, because I don't know my neighbors no more than I know anybody else. Really, you know, I got a few that, you know, and then sometimes you figure, well, they speaking because you lit it.
Right.
You know, they're not speaking because you know, well, I can go into that, but I won't. But you know, it's like a lot of things I go on. It's through my heart, you know, because I'm from a big family, and like I said, I might have mentioned it to you. You know, I lost 4 brothers and I gained 4 brothers on this trip. You know, and each one of them, I get a resemblance, a reminder of the brother I lost. So, you know, and I always felt, long as they're in my heart, they're not dead. They're just not here, you know, and that trip made me realize that even more, you know, that for a time, it's like, maybe that's how I think in my head, but then seeing it and going through it, I can relate all 4 of y'all to 4 of my brothers, you know, and it's, so that kind of like made me feel like, okay, I'm at home, you know, hey, we can deal with whatever we deal with here, you know, and it's fine. And I miss it now.
Yeah,
know?
I miss it too. Everyone was so,
yeah.
It's hard to describe. Everybody was so
It's
gracious.
Like we knew each other.
Yeah, they were gracious too.
You know, it wasn't like a bunch of people just meeting and, you know, how you be standoffs.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. You know, it wasn't like that, you know.
Everybody sitting off in the cut, like,
yeah. Let me see where he coming from.
Bringing taking another phase of the colonization.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They keep us in a competitive spirit over here, you know, be it economical or, you know,
it's like they got us so divided till we against each other. You know, I mean, you know, it used to be, I can remember being at a bus stop and if the elderly person is there and I'm saying something out the way, somebody gonna check me. But now you can't do that because, you know, it's like society done made us, you know, the kids are the grown-ups now. They think they run stuff, you know, and it's more or less like, I'm not gonna get out here and go through no craziness with you if I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we don't do. We don't talk.
They don't
you know, they don't respect the elders, really, you know.
Speaking of that, what speaking of elders and youth, why do you think, or do you think senior citizens or Gen X, why do you think they should visit Ghana or anywhere in Africa?
Well, I think it's because it's just different. You know, it's different. From the time you get there is different. And it's like from the States, it seems wild. You know, the driving and all that, it just seems too wild.
It's wild.
But then you didn't have no encounters, you know, it's no birds and nothing.
Yeah, nobody getting shot.
Ain't nobody, you're right. It's just throwing bottles in your window, but they maneuvered and everything was a good gesture, you know. So it make you see that they're peaceful, you know, in what we would consider being wild.
Yeah.
You know, out here, you know, you done cut somebody off. Now you running from them,
yes.
you know.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, it seems like the United States just made us as Black people so competitive against each other, you know, and jealousy and hate. And they like that separation. That's a part of separation. You know, you can't sometimes get families together without a big old scrap about something happened years ago, you know, instead of
that's families. That's families.
Right. That's what,
that's families, and that's families going at it like that. And you're right. I mean, I didn't even think about it. And then see, the thing is, the way that it works is if they can keep you fighting each other, that's how they can go buy up Africa and buy up not just Africa, but that's how they can come into our neighborhoods and set up the little fish and chicken joints, and they coming from the Middle East. And they can set up the little fish and chicken joint.
And run everything.
Yeah.
and run it.
You're like, and selling the food. You're like, wait a minute now.
I never understood that. I can't understand that, you know, and I don't know. That's the same thing about, like we talk about hair, weaves or whatever. I'm like, why? Okay, first they were buying the long, stringy wigs and whatever. Okay, we know that's the more European look. But now they got you going back into these beauty supplies that you don't own. Now you're buying hair that's just like the hair that grows out your scalp. I don't get it. Wow. I just don't understand that.
That's news.
Because you go in and buy this hair from the Chinese lady, but it's the hair, the same texture, the hair that's growing out of your scalp. So they have us so confused.
Well, the Koreans run the black hair market.
Oh, the hair, yeah.
And
they even had legislation passed to be able. I think when black folks wake up and realize that we've been colonized and our stories are nearly identical globally, and it's just that those of us who are in America have access to more money, but and sometimes we'll say access to more education. But at the same time, we're so miseducated, and we've been so convinced that the European standard is the right standard, and that the standard that we created on so many different levels is wrong. It's like it's like a flip. It's like,
yes, it is.
To the point where people are saying, I'm not this. And it's like, look at yourself in the mirror. I'm not that. It's like we gaslight ourselves. It's like we gaslight it. We deceive ourselves. And we're like, but I'm not this. But look, the genetics say that. But the genetics are wrong. It's like, but that's why we're having these conversations. Because with everyone who's beginning to wake up, for every person who rejects it, there'll be someone who understands that their mind has been played with. And if we could just reach one, if we could, and then the next person reach another one, another one, before you know it, we don't need one particular leader to lead us out. It's like when you look at certain communities, it's a part of their culture. They know that there's certain things that you don't do and that you do. They don't need one figurehead that can get assassinated and then everybody goes.
It's over. It's over with.
Then there's a chaos. It's like, well, no, let's create a culture and let's have a whole lot of people talking about this culture, and then doing things that we need to do and understanding systems. Then that way, it's like if you take one person out, it's too far gone, because the whole swarm is already, they understand what the agenda is. Handle your business at home. Do what you need to do, and these people cannot dominate you like that.
They can't stop.
Yeah. Right. So, but
that's what we got to do. That's our role. We have to, because I think we've dropped the ball in my generation as far as educating our children. I get, say my mom's generation, they were just trying to, show us a better way. They don't want all of the racism and the Jim Crow and all the stuff that they lived through. They tried to shield us from that. And then now we're producing a generation of children that are just, wild out in the streets. They're not educated. We thinking buying them this and, giving them all the name brand things is going to help them lift them up in America. But it's not, it's really doing the opposite. It's more detrimental.
Kind of branding. It's a different kind of branding. They would brand our ancestors with
right.
So now when they're chasing these same brands, it's like we got to put these brands on our back again, or on our feet, and these brands don't care anything about us. And
not
right.
But then too, you figure we were the warriors that we were. We raised our kids.
Yes.
And the system got into our families.
Yes.
And broke up the families, and which the families were still together, but with this, the way they did it with the child support and all this, that started to breaking the family up even more, because you put money into it.
Yeah.
And then, you making each other dislike each other when they got to grow this family together, but they separating it.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, if I can't discipline my son, you better go ahead and, find your new dad or something, or whoever but somebody's supposed to teach you and raise you, know. But, they used to say it takes a village.
Yes.
But now,
well, they destroyed that.
And that's right. That's what they destroyed. Well, they ain't destroyed it, because it can still, it's
come back.
It's starting now.
It's starting.
It's starting now.
And there are a lot of people, to your point. One thing I tell people, and sometimes like people don't like me because I said, look, I'm a man. Right. I'm a man, and that's what I'm gonna be. And you're not gonna soften me up. And I'm a man, and that's who I am. And so there are certain principles and there's a way that a man flows, especially when it comes to raising other men. It's like or how we roll with each other. And that's across all genders. This is just how it is. And so sometimes people get upset when you say I'm unapologetically a man. Like if a woman is a woman, she's unapologetically a woman. And it's all right to be unapologetically who you are. But the way our society is that it tries to change us into becoming something different. Yes. It's like whoever you are, that's who you are. And be who you are. And that's the bottom line. But when we talk about raising our children, raising the boys, like you said, if I can't discipline my sons, then my sons are not going to have respect for me. Right. And I told my sons, I said, the non-negotiable is you will not disrespect me and not live in my house and not inherit what I busted my tail for. And you ain't going to inherit it and you going to disrespect me? I'll be like, man, Negro, please, what's wrong with you?
You say go walk the dog.
What you talking about? So, but you're right. I mean, as I'm listening, Delores, as you were talking about how when it comes to how we give our children everything, and there's nothing wrong with supporting them. I mean, because sometimes when people hear that, they're like, well, they need support, and they need support, but there's also understanding that there's a level of respect that comes with support. That's and right. If you're not going to play your part, if you're going to feel as though you're entitled to something just because, that's not realistic.
You don't appreciate it.
That's right.
No, you don't appreciate it. So that's why I say anybody that has a doubt has to make that trip. Mm-hmm. They have to make that trip because there was so many kids that were doing what they had to do. They probably wasn't in school or whatever, but they were doing. They were hustling. Yeah, so you would call it what you wanted. They were hustling.
But we need to send all our kids over there for like life boot camp. Put them out there and do that for a year.
I don't.
You send our kids over there. They looking for somewhere to sit down and
getting this on the phone. Yeah, but
and give me some air conditioning. Give me some air conditioning.
Right. Get this off my head. No, it ain't going. You got to carry it.
Right.
Carry it. If they could only see, and it's like, you hear people talk about it, but until you see it and in the mix of it and see it's not as chaotic as it may look.
Yeah.
Because I drive crazy.
Oh, you do?
But
you admit it now.
We're gonna put you in Ghana for a while, right?
Yeah. But what I liked about it is like it wasn't no tension. They were like literally crisscrossing each other.
Yes.
And I didn't hear no bumpers and no
cussing
and it's like
fighting and all that stuff.
I like this.
But they always portray us as so violent. We are the violence. We was wrong in America because we're so violent. We commit all the robberies, murders, and the worst of the worst. But you didn't see any of that there. They were so, they were peaceful. I didn't see nobody arguing, and like with traffic, you would expect that, but it was nowhere. It was nowhere. And they were just going on about their business. Not even their beeps was not aggressive. Right.
Their beep was, I see this hole, I got it. Right. And all they do is
they go about their business, and the energy was. I just love the energy of the people. That's why it was just you just felt energized just being out there, and I didn't feel out of place. I did not feel out of place. Because
no tension,
right? And learning to negotiate. I think we did our best negotiations that last day, of course. But
for the last day, so that's when everything was running out. You had to negotiate then.
Right. Exactly. But it's a trip of a lifetime, and I don't want it to be the last one. I don't want it to be the last trip to Africa. And our kids they're they're responsive to the idea of going. You know, of course they put us out there that as guinea pigs, as you say.
Y'all going to see. Y'all go see.
Yeah, right. It is. Matter of fact, they were about they were looking for us because when we went to the beach.
We didn't have
when the Wi-Fi wasn't working. Because we would get on WhatsApp with them, you know, at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
So they was all.
I think they might have called your travel service.
They would say, "Hey, are they okay?"
Right. It was looking around, you know. They was, well, have you? No, they haven't responded. They usually, you know, but they got to tell us it's gonna be 2 days. I said, well, we didn't know, but we're good though. We're good. But yeah, it was beautiful. And I was just telling him today, it's like we didn't get to put our feet in the water at the beach, you know, and I missed that, but it rained that morning, so that kind of threw that off. But the next trip.
There you go. That's how you do it the next trip.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just want to thank the two of you for such a wonderful conversation, not just here on Zoom, but also on the trip, and for being such gracious guests. I really appreciated just you all's attitude, and just your sincerity. I mean, I think that's the part that made it a joy for me, and I think it made it a joy for everyone. And again, everyone, we are talking to Tyrone and Delores Smith from Nashville, Tennessee, and they joined us in Ghana. And again, until we obviously, as you all see other interviews that we do, when we all get together, we are a big family. And so we're looking forward to seeing them again on the continent of Africa. But nevertheless, until then, I want to thank the two of you for just joining us and sharing your thoughts and encouraging others to consider the continent, consider educating our children, consider what has happened to us here as a part of the African diaspora in America, also UK, Canada, and other places throughout the world. So again, I want to thank you for joining me. And until we meet, you know, I think we're coming down to Nashville. I think we're going to have a
bring it on.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you did. And
you're the guy to see if they want to go.
Yeah,
if they want to go. You got to see.
Only want to see.
Thank you so much.
Right.
I greatly appreciate it.
All right.
Y'all have a good evening.
All right, you too.